Welcome back, guys. We are so far witnessing a very one-sided series.
Yeah, it's 2-0 Soulkey, but I'm giving SOS a bye on game 1 because the Ling's getting through on a missed force
He
field.
gets a bye.
He gets a bye there.
It's actually a 1-0.
Well, I mean, technically due to rules, it is a 2-0, but I'm only considering it a 1-0.
He's winning on a technicality, I guess.
Yeah, no, he won it, and he played very well for getting the Lings by. If the Lings didn't get by, though, who knows what happens that game.
Who knows? Soulkey, I keep saying this, but it's true. He makes Zerg look unfair.
Yeah.
And I've never really had that feeling. I guess Innovation look at that. I'm like,
every now and then, you're like, oh, what is... Like, DRG's done that to us a few times where it just looks like, can anyone ever beat this guy?
Well, you know, like with SOS's build there, when I'm watching Soulkey play, I feel like maybe Protoss isn't supposed to be able to get away with that. I don't know. Like, he's making it look very easy to wipe out the third base. He comes out with his roaches or his lings or his hiders or whatever he has. He's like, you know, you can't actually do that.
Yeah, maybe.
I actually understand the game too well.
Well, we'll see on this map, Daybreak. Definitely a map that's very easy to defend that third base, probably more so than what we've seen. So, in fact, definitely more so than we've seen.
Yeah.
If he can do it here, Tasteless, he can do it anywhere. But realistically, this is a map where, as we get to the very late game, Swarm hosts are going to be a problem. So we might see a timing attack coming out of SOS.
All right, get ready to find out. Oh, we're going to find out soon. It's going to be close to the finals here. I messed up my outro. One of these guys is going to go to the finals to GSL Korea. Sorry. Over here in the bottom left, we have our Zerg player becoming a legend. He is none other than
웅진 스타즈 Soulkey.
And over here in the upper right, we have our Protoss player.
웅진 스타즈 SOS.
Now you got to be thinking going into this. You're going to be, oh, look at this. I want to toss at a final two. I actually agree with that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And look, that is a sad.
Is that two
Protoss.
bullet holes in his head? That guy's got to become
it's
an
like
immortal
the crazy
now.
stuff that the serial killer does. Like, the killer always leaves $2 silver over the victim's eyes.
Yeah.
That's why they call him the silver dollar killer.
All right, with that forge timing, this could be a cannon rush that we see coming up.
Yep. Well, you know, like I said earlier, I don't know if SOS can keep doing the same build.
Well, the thing is, this isn't a hatch first. In the last game, it was a double hatch before pool, but here it's actually a pool and then hatch, which means that this forge isn't really actually going to gain him anything much. You know, he's going to have his cannon up in time. There's no way Zerglings are going to get in, so that's good. But he's going to see no hatch. Oops. Okay, no cannon rush either.
Okay. So far, Soulkey very good at predicting how SOS is going to play early on and keeping that lead.
That is very well said, Tasteless. He's had, I guess, what you could call a slight advantage in the opening builds each time.
As you can see here, what he wants to do is mine from those minerals for a little bit with that probe and then run away before it actually gets that mineral.
Yeah.
Because it resets the timing.
Yeah.
So the probe has to mine for a certain amount of seconds at once to get a mineral. So what he's doing is he's basically taking away a mineral patch temporarily from Soulkey. And these are these little things you can do that actually add up to give you a big lead.
Yeah, think of that move as like a very bratty kid. He sees the drone coming over to play with the minerals, so he wants to play with the minerals until the drone goes away, and then he doesn't want to play with the minerals anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, almost could have gotten a block off there.
Yeah. But at least he sees that it is 3 base, and this is going to tell him that, you know, if he wants to go ahead and do that very quick tech plus third base, it's going to be something he can attempt again. Because, you know, things like speedlings, things like roaches are quite a ways off when someone goes 3 bases this quickly.
All right, the Lings are just going to chase this probe back. They will not engage the cannon here, obviously. And after the gateway's done, we're going to get the cybernetic score up here, and from there we're going to see what exactly is the tech going to be here for a Protoss player.
Yeah.
You think it's Stargate again?
Yeah, I do. You know, it could be a Robo for either, you know, an Immortal timing, a Colossus timing, or a Immortal Colossus timing. But I guess it has to be a Stargate, really. I mean, I don't know if he's going to go for any of those types of attacks this game.
I think it's going to be a Stargate where he stays on 2 base for a little bit instead of a Stargate where he expands right away off it.
No, I think he is going to expand pretty quickly, to be honest with you, Tasis. It could be a Twilight, though. I mean, SOS strikes me as more of a Twilight player than a Robo player.
Yeah.
But it is the Stargate as expected. And it looks like it will be scouted pretty quick by that Overlord as well.
All right, Artie.
Yes.
Tell me something cool you've done lately. Give me a
Well,
life
I got
update.
to lay in bed sick a lot.
That's really cool.
Yeah. I get to feel what having a regular headache and a sinus headache at the same time feels like.
Oh, God. Isn't that terrible?
It's pretty bad.
Isn't it amazing, like, how awful you feel when you get anything, like a sinus infection at all?
Yeah.
You're like, how can my nose produce this much snot?
Yeah, that's pretty gross, too.
I'm like, that's just...
I've been wondering that with my baby. I can't even tell you how much snot that she can produce when she gets a cold.
Oh, man.
It's actually astounding because the nose is very small.
Yeah. Have you gotten a neti pot yet?
No. No, I have not. One day.
I'm still not used to it whenever I use it.
Yeah, well, why would you be used to that? It's crazy.
It's crazy, man. It's like, every time I use it, like, it doesn't hurt, but it just feels so weird. It feels so alien. Right before I use it, I just go, because the neti pot is dark and full of terrors. I do.
Kind of an interesting development that we have here.
Yeah.
That neti pots are full of terrors, but also that 4 gas is taken after 7 minutes instead of, you know, normally the latest that you see is 2 gases at like 6:10-ish.
Yeah.
So, really getting a heavy mineral advantage there.
And he's going to go for that Nexus now, over here at the 3rd.
Yeah. And, you know, the thing is, Soulkey is going to be even less ready for an attack to come up. So.
Well, let's see if we can get SOS. I almost called him Sue for some reason. Let's see if we can get SOS into the late game, because I really want to see what he has to offer in that phase of the game.
Yeah. And I think he'll be able to get there this time. I think that we're actually going to see from Soulkey a much longer game this time. I don't think he's going to try to attack into this area.
Probably not.
I think he'll probably take his... Well, he is taking his 4th, as we see. I was going to say take his 4th and divide the map up. And I would not be surprised if we saw, once again, Swarm Host play here.
Yeah. We absolutely could have that. See something real fast. Artos is here.
Yeah.
Looks like the drone count's at 72 to the 53 probes here of SOS.
Yeah, very solid. A very quick drone rise here. And the thing is, he scouted what's going on. He sees that this is, in fact, all sorts of tech and all sorts of bases all at once. So he can drone like a madman, take an extra base himself, and especially since there's a Stargate, you know, if it is, you know, actual sky toss type play, it takes so long for them to build up a decent army that you can really be greedy with Surge.
You got free reign of the map for sure.
Yeah, for quite some time. So we do have the basically everything coming up at once here for both players. All 3 techs for Protoss, all 3 layer techs here for Zerg, Infestation Pit, Spire, and Hydralisk.
So we're going to go into like Supreme late game, and they're taking very fast, by the way.
Yeah.
We got, you know, granted their supplies are fairly even. We're at the 10-minute marker, and these guys have got economies that are like stellar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty scary. 87 drones already. Almost no units out. He's got 2 Zerglings out and 87 drones. So he's really abusing the fact that SOS is being a greedy player as well. This is a battle of the greeds.
Battle of the greeds?
Yeah.
All right. He did get one changing in there. Is he going to actually just not get that? Oh,
yeah, I guess he will.
No!
Run! Ouch. All right, so he is upgrading Swarm Host play. Swarm Host upgrade. What is that called? Enduring Locust, that's it.
Enduring Locust?
Yeah.
you ever have names for some abilities where you're like, well, I don't know the actual name for that. I have like some crazy name. I call that in my head.
Of course.
I remember I was listening to a Calaris cast, and he said, I watched it. He was talking about the Thors, and he's like, their javelin missiles are just too good. And I was at home, and I'm like, what are javelin missiles? I'm like, what the hell is that? I'm like, do they have? I actually looked it up on Google. I'm like, Thor, and it's just like the name for their anti-air rockets. I'm like, oh, those things.
Yeah, Claris is funny.
I was like,
he called the Mothership Core puzzle box, and I just smiled. All right, here we go. Actually, a lot of Lings and Mutas coming up right now.
And that's actually too many Mutas.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
Well,
he doesn't want to lose too much here. Looks like he has probably enough Stalkers here to maybe escort his Colossus back.
I don't even know. The Lings can surround, though.
Yeah, that's true. And
he's actually just going to
that's
all right.
That was kind of sudden.
I think this might be a short best of 7.
God.
I don't... Again, he's making it look like SOS doesn't even know how to play the game.
He is. This is actually
all right.
a bit weird.
Okay. This might be a record shortest day for us, man.
It could be.
Let me check my clock. It's 7 o'clock on the dot. We started at 6:10.
This is... I stopped talking about the game for a moment because I'm like, this should just go on. And I'm like... watching things, I'm like, oh, look at this in my head while we're talking.
Look at SOS, man. This guy is like...
he's falling apart.
Having like an internal crisis right now. He's like, okay.
He's probably too close to the goal of his life, which is to get to the finals, you know. This happens to people. It's hard to be able to do that.
Man, you know?
Soulkey has had a lot more success in esports than SOS has in Starcraft 1. So, you know, he's probably a little bit more hardened towards this. But just to go back on that game a little bit, what Soulkey was doing wasn't meant to do what it just did. By going for Mutas, you kind of keep Protoss in their base, making things like Blink Stalkers or Phoenixes, which won't be useful against your huge Swarm host play a little bit later on. It's just something to keep them back, do some harassment, get intel with. It's not meant to actually run up and kill them with.
Yeah. Do you think he's going to do the same build here?
Akalon? Well, I think for sure we're going to see 3 base, but this is one where you can't screw it up.
Yeah.
You can open up anything and go 3 base here.
It's so funny because like in that last one, he didn't really screw up the 3 base. He just couldn't be out on the map.
Yeah, I guess he just... well, I mean, I'm not sure why he was even out that far. Like, I guess he wanted to remove some creep or something.
I think he wanted to get the watchtower, maybe stop the creep from getting too close.
Like, I guess he was preparing for his 4th as well.
But Soulkey was just like, you can't leave your base.
That was a very random...
This is your past your curfew, young man. You go back to your Protoss base and wait.
Yeah.
Wait to the 15-minute marker when you're allowed to leave again. That was like, well, 15 minutes, that's a long time. I think you'll have 5 bases by then. And Soulkey's like, exactly. Then you can leave your base. How was my evil laugh? Is that good?
That was perfect.
Thank you.
It was perfect. That was a weird game, man. I have a weird feeling about that game. Something isn't right about that game, man.
All right, guys. It looks like it's time to start this game. Is Soulkey going to close us out with a 4-0? Or is SOS going to bring us the comeback of a lifetime? We're going to find out soon here at the GS.